Hey everybody, Miss Dupree here. In this video, we will explore heat energy. Heat energy is also called thermal energy. Just think of the word thermometer. When we think of heat, we usually think of words like hot or cold, but really, heat is energy. It measures the kinetic motion of molecules. Heat is what makes molecules move. The more heat energy that molecules have, the faster they move. Make sense? Let's talk for a moment about heat and temperature. They're not exactly the same thing. Temperature is a number, a measurement of how fast those molecules are actually moving. Heat is a measurement of the total energy of the substance. That seems almost the same, but let's use an example. A lit candle will have a very high temperature because the molecules are moving very quickly. But the candle does not have a lot of heat energy because the candle is small. A warm bathtub will have a lower temperature because the molecules are moving slower. But the bathtub will actually have more heat energy because there are a lot more molecules in the water. That's a lot to think about. So if you're a little confused, don't worry. Heat can be easily transferred or moved from one object into another object. If you've ever touched a hot pot on the stove, you know that's true. The hot pot burns your hand and you definitely felt the heat in your hand. Heat transfer follows a very simple rule. Heat always moves from something hotter to something colder, until both objects are the same temperature. For example, that pot was hotter than your hand, right? So the heat moved from the pot into your hand, causing your hand to heat up and feel burned. Okay, now I'm going to mess with your mind a little bit. Let's talk about the word cold. There really is no such thing as cold. Cold is just a description that means less heat. Imagine yourself holding an ice cube. Your hand will quickly feel cold, right? That is not because cold is moving into your hand. There is no such thing as cold energy. What is happening is that your hand is warmer than the ice cube, right? And heat always moves from something hotter to something less hot. So the heat from your hand moved into the ice. The heat moving into the ice cube causes it to melt. The heat leaving your hand causes your hand to feel cold. So, repeat after me, there is no such thing as cold. Cold just means that heat is leaving something. Let's review. We learned that heat is the energy of moving molecules. The more heat, the faster the molecules move. The less heat, the slower the molecules move. Temperature measures how fast the molecules are moving. Faster molecules will have a higher temperature, and slower molecules will have a lower temperature. Temperature is not the same as heat. Heat measures how much total energy is inside something. So a larger object can have more energy than a smaller object, even if the smaller object has a higher temperature. Heat always moves from something hotter into something cooler until both substances are the same temperature. Remember the rule, hot to cold. Also, remember that there is really no such thing as cold. Cold just means that heat has left something. If you touch a hot pot, your hand will feel hot because heat moved from the hot pot into your hand. If you touch an ice cube, your hand will feel cold because heat moved out of your hand and into the ice cube. Pause the video now and copy these notes into your notebook. Do you see where it asks you to draw a picture? Don't write that. I want you to draw a picture as an example. If you have questions, be sure to ask your teacher. Good job, everybody.